The voluntary basis.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go on the record. This is a public comment hearing in case number, Phil, I was reading off the screen. Patrick. Thank you. Case number 23-00188-UT in the matter of an inquiry and rulemaking pertaining to investor-owned electric utilities reliability metrics. Excuse me, as I said, this is a public comment hearing on that rulemaking. I guess we'll check to see if there's anybody in the room who wishes to go on the record and submit comments. I know there may be some in the room who have submitted comments in writing already. If you would like to come up to the microphone and enter a summary of those comments or anything in particular that you would like the commission to be focused on, I encourage you to do that. And then once we go through the room, we'll check and see if anybody is online and wishing to provide comments. So anybody in the room want to come up and provide some comments? Come on up. Public comment, utility. I mean, it's for everybody. Great.
Jason Villanueva, manager of operations.
Please turn the. There you go.
Good. I'm colorblind, so I can't tell if it changes color. So, El Paso Electric, Jason Villanueva, manager of distribution operations. A pleasure to be here and enjoyed the first session too. So, in summary, our comments regarding the reliability report. There's a few things here that I already shared with you in writing, but the 10-year requirement, I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit more. We can easily provide 10 years. It's not a problem. It's not a burden to us. But best practices we feel maintain that due to the process changes, the way we coded things 10 years ago, the way we had processes for documenting outages 10 years ago, the way we had operational procedures 10 years ago, it does leave a little bit of a misrepresentation if you study the trends for 10 years. We've tried it internally. We've tried to go through those 10-year trends, and we run across problems analyzing the trends because we got to account for all these things that changed throughout the years. I can give you many examples of that. One quick example is 10 years ago, we weren't keeping track of step restorations the same way we do today. That's a huge impact to safety. Our accuracy of information is changed significantly. We're constantly trying to improve how we do things. So in some ways that improves the figures, other ways that makes the figures less impressive. And so we want to maintain the 5-year recommendation for those reasons, but we can easily comply with 10 years. Another one too is the customer type requirement. So again, internally we have that information in separate systems. Our OMS system, which keeps the records, does not have that information. It will require some investment on our part to get that interfaced and in compliance. So it's our preference not to go that route. We do see that some benefit in doing that. It does complicate the trends. It does complicate the reports, having that breakout, right? If you were to introduce that level of granularity, it does kind of complicate how things are presented. Not the end of the world, but definitely something to consider. If I recall correctly, also another comment we had was regarding the major event, or I think it was called major outage. We have recommended removing that because we didn't find that term anywhere, and I saw the other comment that it was in the IEEE standard, but we'd have to become familiar with what that specifically means to comply with that. We definitely agree with the major event day definition and using the IEEE standard for that. I think a lot of our comments too were pointing towards using the IEEE more consistently. I know that's the intent probably, but we probably need to clean that up a little bit just to make sure it is doing it consistently. I think there's some terms that were used. For example, a minor example is the term outage. I think the proper term technically is interruption, because there's a difference between interruption and outage in the IEEE standard. Stuff like that, just to make sure we're consistent with the IEEE standard. What was another major one that's probably about it, I think. So I think for the most part, though, we can pretty much comply. I think our preference was to not make it so complicated. And, the financial part as well. Some of the financial requirements, we kind of felt that, we can report that in somewhere outside of reliability reports. I think there is definitely some overlap. It's important to know how much is invested to help reliability. But I think the specifics and the drill downs of that can be reported somewhere else, and maybe some high level numbers. But all in all, I think EPE is able to comply with all that. Just some minor comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to provide comments on the record? Okay, Patrick, anybody online?
Yes, we do have one individual. Austin, you're there?
Yes, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Great. Good afternoon. I'll try to keep this brief. My name is Austin Rushoff, and I'm appearing on behalf of the New Mexico Large Customer Group. We submitted initial and response comments, and we appreciate the Commission's review of those comments and also the exchange and discussions with the other stakeholders so far. At the outset, we would like to thank the Commission for initiating this process and considering the importance of electric reliability and power quality. The New Mexico Large Customer Group consists of large electric consumers who own and operate facilities in New Mexico and can significantly contribute to the New Mexico economy. The primary reason we wanted to get involved in this is to highlight for the Commission the importance of electric reliability and the unique reliability issues that impact large customers. While it is not our intention to minimize the importance of electric reliability to all customers or smaller customers, there are, unique attributes of electric reliability that impact large customers. For example, while a brief power outage or power sag or spike may be a small inconvenience to smaller customers, resulting in loss of lights for a few minutes or flickering of lights in your house, the same small outage or voltage sags can be a significant detriment to large customers, resulting in major consequences both financially, safety, and with the environment. Industrial facilities and industrial processes depend on sophisticated and expensive machinery that relies on continuous and consistent power. So even momentary outages and voltage sags or surges can disrupt machinery and can require shutting down entire facilities. Oftentimes, these shutdowns can take hours or days to fire back up these sophisticated and complicated industrial facilities. Again, this can result in wasted product, safety for employees, and emission or other environmental concerns. Because of these concerns and the importance of electric reliability to our members, we provided recommendations to the Commission to revise the rules in a number of ways, and the first of which being disaggregation and granularity of data. Because of the impacts of outages and power quality issues vary by customer type, we have recommended several changes to Appendix A that would provide more granularity in data reporting and disaggregation by voltage level and or customer type when that information is available. While the SAIFI, SAIDI, and CAIDI metrics are important to judging reliability, they do not necessarily capture the full impact of power quality or reliability issues by customer types, and therefore do not capture the impact of reliability issues for large customers. To this end, the New Mexico Large Customer Group, supports the suggestions made by PNM and El Paso Electric where they added the substation row to Appendix A, Table 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4. We think this more granular data and more robust data set would be helpful to the commission as you analyze reliability metrics moving forward. We also recognize that some parties have mentioned that, you know, there might be technical limitations or a lack of data to report all these metrics by customer class. The gentleman from EPE just mentioned this, and we recognize that, you know, some of our recommendations and our comments and our proposed changes to the rules may be difficult to implement at this time. And to the extent that's the case, we're willing to work with the commission and the utilities either through further discussions or workshop processes to smooth out and discuss how this data can be reported. Mr. Ito from Berkeley Labs, who submitted comments in this proceeding, also recommended that there may be instances where the commission might want to pursue further workshops or comment processes on these realms. And we are willing to lend our expertise as sort of large industrial facilities to help work on that. A couple other things that we mentioned. Again, we recommended that MAFI reporting be implemented into the rules. Again, we recognize some of the comments from PNM and EPE and SPS, I believe, again, touched on the limitations on capturing and reporting this data at that time. I know SPS specifically said they're able to capture and report that data for their customers who have advanced metering infrastructure or AMI meters installed, but they aren't able to report on those metrics for customers without AMI meters. We recommend the commission perhaps amend the rule to require MAFI reporting when that data is available, and perhaps encourage the utilities to continue invest in AMI metering as necessary to continue to build that data set that would be necessary to better gather and report that information. We recommended a specific section to the rules regarding power quality. Again, we see power quality as issues where the electric voltage either surges or sags, which again, small customers may not even notice this, but it's it can have an important impact and be detrimental to sophisticated large machinery specific to large customers. So again, we would request that there be more specific reporting requirements on power quality specifically. Finally, we touched on remedies. We understand that the purpose of this rulemaking and this rule is specifically focused on reporting. But again, we think it's important that the commission have in its toolbox the ability to implement certain remedies or penalties if this electric reliability reporting demonstrates over time continued issues with electric reliability for specific utilities or a failure of utilities to address known problems. So we would recommend that there be some amendment to the rules that will give the commission authority to implement remedies or penalties as necessary if issues are reported often. We believe the commission already has authority. It's within its discretion within current statutes, just as the regulator of utilities, to implement penalties if necessary, but we think incorporating it into this rule would be a positive. So with that, we appreciate the commission considering our comments that we've submitted. Again, there's much more details in our written comments, and happy to answer any questions, or happy to continue collaborating on this process if workshops or further inquiries are warranted. Thank you.
Patrick, anybody else online?
That's it for online at the moment.
Anybody else in the room? We got to everybody. Commissioner, did you want to any comments for the record? Okay, I guess we'll close this hearing now that we don't have any more commenters. I would remind people that if you haven't already, there's still the ability to file written comments into the record. So please do that. And we appreciate everybody's participation. Thanks.
Did you want me to be?